So we're going to use something we're familiar with to help us to remember something we're not so familiar with. We're using a memory palace. We're going to overlay that with the endocrine glands and some of the hormones and some of the conditions that caused by problems with the hormones. So what we might see at a hydropower dam is parking, the reservoir, water inlets, the dam itself, waterfalls, an observation deck where we would see turbines, and the turbines would generate power, and power is transformed into something usable and something that can be transmitted down power lines. And of course there's sometimes fish ladders to help protect endangered species. So parking helps us think of the pineal gland, and pineal gland is associated with melatonin. The dam helps us think of adrenals, and the adrenals, there's two parts to the adrenals. There's the outer cortex and the inner medulla. And adrenal is also associated with Conn syndrome. The outer cortex is associated with cortisol, aldosterone, sex hormones, Addison disease, and Cushing syndrome. The inner medulla is associated with epinephrine. The reservoir helps us think of hypothalamus. Water inlets help us think of the pancreatic inlets, which are associated with insulin, glucagon, diabetes, and hyperglycemia. The waterfall helps us think of the pituitary, and there's two parts to the pituitary. There's the anterior and posterior. The anterior pituitary is associated with growth and Simmons disease. The posterior is associated with ADH, antidiuretic, and oxytocin. The transformers help us remember the thyroid. Thyroid is associated with metabolism, goiter, and Hashimoto disease. The fish ladders help us remember parathyroids. Parathyroids that are associated with calcium, tetany, and von Recklinghausen disease. And the last two are the observation deck, and that helps us think of the female ovaries, and the turbines help us remember the male testes. And there you have it. Our memory palace, we can just simply walk through each one of these physical items, which will help us remember parts of the body.